Hi everybody! Welcome to week 4 for Humanities 103 Mythology. Here's a screenshot of the week 4 modules. The first thing I want to point out to you is that there is no discussion post this week. No discussion post, no peer responses. Instead, you actually have the culminating assignment for Unit 2, and I'll go over that in just a minute. You'll also see at the very top, it says Novel Analysis Project. Now, I want you to notice that it actually is due April 29th. And I'll explain why I'm showing it to you now. But just to make you aware that there are a couple of descriptions of major assignments in this week's module. You have 3 pantheons that I would like you to learn about. Indian pantheons and African pantheons are both videos. The Polynesian pantheons takes you to a really great website that I just found that I like a lot. So among all of those Polynesian pantheons, I'd like you to choose one to read about. So you can choose from among Hawaiian and Samoan and Maori. I mean, there are lots to choose from. So please choose one and read about all of the gods and goddesses from that pantheon. Before we move on, I just want to remind you or point out to you that really the key takeaway from this Unit 2 pantheons was the whole idea of what can we figure out about a culture, whether it's a very ancient culture or even a fairly contemporary culture, by looking at the deities that they not only worship, but the deities that they've invented, created. So thinking about oftentimes these family trees, the relationships among all of the deities or mythical characters, and each one of their supernatural individual abilities or powers, and what they offer to that culture. So what can we tell about a culture by looking at their pantheons? All right, we're going to take that one step further by having you invent your own pantheon. And that's what the Pantheon Project is. I love this assignment. I love reading these. This is so fun. It's in 2 parts. And the first part, you're going to create your own individual, custom-made personal pantheon just for you. That's based on your current physical, emotional, cognitive needs and desires. So a snapshot of who you are right now. And out of that whole area of who you are right now, what you need, what you want, and kind of maybe looking into the future of things that you're preparing for right now, I want you to identify 4 areas where you could use a little supernatural assistance right now. So let me give you an example. I'll use myself as an example. I live in Northern California. This is not fire season, but if this were just even a few months in the future, everything would be brown and crispy. We wouldn't have had rain for quite a while. We would be very, very conscious of being careful with any kind of flame, always looking at the weather reports because it's a constant threat of wildfire. So I could really use a deity who would protect our property, our land, the animals, everything here from the ravages of wildfire. So that would be my fire god or goddess. So that's just an example of one of the people or deities that I would put in my own personal pantheon right now. So when you've come up with those 4 areas, and I want you to identify those 4 areas, and then you're going to describe each of the deities that you create to address each of those 4 areas. So 4 areas, 4 deities. And you're going to write a detailed description of each deity that includes their name, their appearance, their accessories, their weapons, whatever they have to carry with them. Could even be, the cats that pull their chariot. Specific powers or talents or abilities that they have. And specifically, how are they going to help you in your life right now? And last, any rituals or celebrations that they require you to do. So you can see this is going to use a lot of imagination on your part. So this is a great time to just really open up your creativity and have some fun with this. Do not use any names or descriptions or references to any god, goddess, deity, mythical character that currently exists in any story. This is entirely original. Okay? This is an overview. I need you to go to the actual reading assignment, read it very, very carefully, and go over the rubric before you get started with it. Part 2 is the visual representation of your pantheon. So after you have described these deities, now you should have sort of a mental, picture of what they look like. So what are they wearing? What are they carrying? Maybe what environment do they typically, exist in? You might even show them working in your life, in your environment. I want you to draw this pantheon. You can draw it, you can paint it, you can create digital versions. If you want to, cut out pictures out of a magazine. I don't care, but it has to be a clear visual representation of what you imagine your pantheon looks like. I also say dress up your friends, take pictures, whatever. Once again, it's entirely up to you how you do it. You just need to do it. Then you will digitize or scan your visual, whatever, and attach it as a JPEG. So when you post your assignment, you're going to be submitting a doc or docx of your actual description and then a JPEG of your visual. Okay, I didn't make a screenshot of this, but I'm sure you can figure this out. When you go to the assignment instructions, down at the bottom, or no, it's up at the top, there's a little red box that says Start Assignment. You click on that, it will take you to the dialog box that shows you where you can upload your files, and then there's a red button that says Submit Assignment. So that's how you will turn this in. Let me know if you have any questions before you do that. All right, so that's your assignment for this week. I wanted to introduce you to this semester-long project right now. You don't need to start it right now, but you do need to start thinking about it. And this is called the Novel Analysis Project, and you have the entire rest of the semester to do this. However, don't put this off because it requires you to read a novel, to spend some time thinking about it, and then to write a fairly substantial paper that is an analysis of the story. This is just a screenshot of the very beginning of the assignment instructions, so please go in there and read them so you have a sense of what you need to do. It asks you to analyze a novel that is based on a myth or a mythical pantheon. You'll be drawing from the analytical concepts and critical approaches that you have learned throughout the semester. I'll show you in a minute which ones I'm talking about that we've already covered. So we've covered quite a few in the first couple of weeks of this semester. We will be covering more of them down the road. So don't panic if you start reading a novel and you say, well, I don't know what critical approach is. Just kind of be patient, and all of this will unfold throughout the semester. When it comes time to actually write your paper, let's say week 12, 13, 14 of the semester, you will absolutely understand what you need to do for your analysis. But the important thing right now is to think about what book you're going to read, to obtain the book, and then start getting, motivated, mentally prepared to start reading it. The only thing I want to reiterate here is this is not a research project. You are not going to go online. You don't need to go to the library. You will not be using any other sources for this project except the novel that you read and any of the resources or the readings, the videos, anything that is on our Canvas course site. That's it. you are going to have so much to use. You will not need to go out and get any other information. I really want to stress that. The list of books is there in Module 4, Week 4, and it's right under where it says Novel Analysis Project. Click on that. You will find an exhaustive list of lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of novels that I have just gleaned from all over the internet. I've done my best to give you a great selection of books from all different cultures, all different time periods. I think, in fact, I am positive that you'll find something in there that sounds really interesting for you. And then that gives you some time to actually find the book. You don't need to buy it. You can go through the WSU libraries. If it's not in our actual library, you can contact a reference librarian, see if they'll get it through interlibrary loan for you or through Summit. You might be able to find it at your local library. Just, walk downtown to your library and look on the shelves. Or if you really want to buy it, go through Amazon or Barnes & Noble or any place that sells books online. So as you are reading this book, some things to be becoming aware of. So you might ask, well, how do I know, what I'm going to be analyzing? Look for any references to gods or goddesses or deities or any sort of mythical character. Look for magic, even though magic is obviously strongly connected with fantasy and things like that. I mean, it's really integral to so many myths. Things like interdimensional travel or extrasensory abilities. Look for archetypes, which we haven't talked about yet, but we will. So the archetype of the trickster or the hero. There are so many that are used as models for characters in myth-based books. Actual references to classic or well-known myths, things like the Odyssey, the Iliad, King Arthur, the Greek pantheon, and so on. Oftentimes on the back of the book, they will tell you, what the actual source of the inspiration for the book was. So those are the things to look for as you get started. There on the right is a screenshot of week 2. Those were the readings that you did for week 2. And in those readings, especially the 19th century, the 20th century, and contemporary views of mythology, it summarizes some of the main thinkers of the scholars who have created the critical approaches that you can use to really dig into this book. So, as I said, no panic at all. You have all semester to do this, but don't put it off. Start looking through the list of books that you can choose from, maybe find one or two that look interesting to you, and start that process of locating the book for you to start reading. All right, this is a really fun assignment, and I have to tell you, last semester was the first time that I gave this assignment, and the comments I loved so much. I bet I had half a dozen people at least say something like, oh gosh, I haven't had time to read in so long. I just, I haven't quite been into reading novels or stuff, but I loved reading this book, and this has really motivated me to, get back into reading. So yay, reading. Have fun with this assignment. If you have any questions, of course, you can contact me during chat office hours. You'll notice that I have changed the days. So from this point forward, office hours will be every Monday from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m., from 11 to 12. I will be right there on chat. You can get an answer to your question quickly, efficiently. Otherwise, post your questions in the Ask the Instructor discussion thread or contact me through the Canvas inbox. That's it for this week. Okay, you have a lot of work to do. I hope you enjoy it, and I'm really looking forward to reading about your personal pantheons.